of politics, you know. And I know sometimes even my own party has a parallel broadcast, a constituency doing something. And I've seen 85 persons viewing. And I'm on douglAR Politics and I see 9,000 persons viewing.
douglAR Politics, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Clarence, log on Clarence, YouTube, Facebook, Clarence, we start on time, 7:30 p.m. douglAR Politics.
This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Clarence, share the live, boy. Clarence, share the live, Clarence. Well, come on, let's get up to 10,000, Clarence. So let us start. Contractors warn, don't pay cops directly for police escorts. Let me tell you something. I tell you, a car coming in, licensing office open today. Brand new car coming in. I see green light men going, police car, 3, 4, 5 police car escorting brand new vehicle and thing. Some are official. All your companies pay all your money to protect all your goods. Stop the bacchanal. Wasa CEO quits. Government unhappy with slow pace of change. And the headline news, Newsday, page 3, full article, big article. This is the man who quit, you know. Not a word from he. They talk about the man who replaced him. They talk about what the minister say, what the PNM say, what he was accused of doing. Newsday, this is news, really and truly. But Mr. Former CEO, I'm sorry for you. When you went with the PNM, you had to know that was going to happen because it is clear that they asked you to do something that you are not willing to do. But look at my face as I wait for you to talk. You won't, because that's why our society is in the mess that it is in. Because the Balizé, Juice and the cult will mean that they will disrespect you. They will push a narrative through their newspaper, their newspaper with the Judy Raymond editorial, get ahead of you, start the talk, pelt you under the bus. You frightened because you would like to get a next position or a next something, and you will not tell the population what went on at Wasa. So you're on your own because you don't want to talk, you don't want to tell me that it's happened. How many chairmen, chairwomen, how many leaders of boards under the PNM resign, retire, resign, and gone quietly, hoping to get a little chooks. Conrad Enel was vexed, attacking Rowley and so on. Put him in charge of NGC making loss. Conrad Enel happy, but because he have a post. Now, Keith Christopher Rowley, Vandana Mohit asked him some questions. Because Vandana Mohit really cares about people, about single mothers and poor people getting a little assistance because she feels the pain. She asked Rowley in the parliament, what about the little bit of money, the pittance for the people who apply? And think about it. The real poor people didn't apply because they couldn't go through all that bacchanal with Coleman but form and 3 former ID and recommendation from a previous employer or from your employer and all of that. But to the people who stuck it out to try and get a little 1500, Vandana asked, well, when the people go get the money? Because some people waiting for money from last year, 8,000 people still waiting. Here, Keith Rowley, by the end, look, relief grants to be paid before the end of the year. Yes, you're reading that correctly, you know. Relief, not luxury grant, not lobster and shrimps grant, not champagne grant, relief grant. Relief for starving, hungry people to feed their family. Rowley arrogantly says, early July, yeah, before the end of the year, man. While in the USA, for this quarter, The third round, the IRS has paid out 169 million deposits into bank accounts of U.S. citizens. 169 million for this quarter alone. This is the third rounds them going on, the third rounds. And 2.3 million checks. 171.3 million citizens in the USA get 1,400 US, which is about 10,000 TT for their quarter. And Rowley can't even give people a 1,500, or some only get 14, some get 1,100, whatever it is. Couldn't get it from last year, and saying glibly, by the end of the year, man, people go get that. That's really caring, your heart showing. 15 deaths, this was Thursday, so Wednesday was 15 deaths, 115 cases. Thursday, yesterday was 321 cases and 5 deaths. Like 20 deaths in 2 days. Today, me and him know what the numbers are. And we on lockdown, shutdown, broke down and dead down. We on SOE. We on mash-up economy. And nothing is happening. But PAHO, the doctor at PAHO says, they highlight the increase in Trinidad and Tobago's COVID-19 deaths. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, said on Wednesday, Trinidad and Tobago has reported the highest increase in deaths from COVID-19 in the region in the recent days. Dr. Carissa Etienne, director of PAHO, said in a virtual press conference, Cuba was a Caribbean country with the highest increase, and TNT faces an increase in mortality. Etienne did not give figures for those two countries, but she is noting our death rate. Dr. Hines, he come to say now, on top of, it's not illegal immigrants bringing COVID. You can't find the illegal immigrants. He ain't swabbed the nose hole, but he tell me that. Last year, January to April, the increase of 400 respiratory deaths and pulmonary failure and so on, the increase of 400 deaths in that period, that's normal. Easter, yes, the spike was due to the Tobago frolicking in East. No, that wasn't really, it wasn't that, it was really something else. It was a minor spike and maybe vigil and so on. That's this Dr. Hines that y'all, the Express, trying to tell the population, give him a chance because he is a doctor and he's a professional. If he was a professional, we would not have a problem. You see? But when you play games with people's lives and you play the Rowley Balize Juice game and you dance and twist and then you tell us that Rowley is the only human being in the world who get COVID-19, I ain't ready for that yet. I get COVID-19 when he had stuffy nose and sneezing, he had a little runny nose, and he was supposed to take the jab, and then he didn't take the jab, and then he was the only human being who had a period to wait before getting jab. Nowhere else in the world has 6 months. All they jump out and tell me about Rowley could take the jab in September. Nobody asked all of that, nobody care. And that is not science. Show me the science. But we continue to leave our lives in the hands of people like Dr. Hines, who does not answer questions, who plays with statistics and plays games. Look at this doctor now. I don't know the man, but all I know is when I read this man, I get information without emotion, without any coloring, without any seasoning. Who is this man? He's a COVID-19 response team member in the Office of the County Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Anthony Thompson in Tobago, right? Dr. Anthony Thompson. This is about the third time that I'm just reading him, and I just wish that maybe he was in charge of the whole thing. Because he just come out, it ain't no politics, it ain't no simi-dimi, it ain't no try to say to change incubation period from 14 down to 2 days because Rowley get COVID and then 35 people get it and Franklin can't dead and you're trying to ship it and then you want to know what Parashram say and did Pooh Parashram tell and he did, I told them but them didn't take me on and then Parashram come to say, well it's not really them, I told you all the people and all you didn't take me on and all you went to Tobago, but it really wasn't 50,000 went to Tobago, it was 25,000 went and come. That is the games that are going on. But this man, hear this man, Dr. Anthony Thompson, a pure professional. Me I know the man, nor do I need to know the man. Pointing at the averages for both the active case 7-day average and the new cases 7-day average, he said that they had begun to climb again. In terms of the sample positivity rate, which rebounded last week, it continues to rise and is now just below 25%. Of course, all these indicators show that the wave of infections in Tobago that we're experiencing is going in the wrong direction. In terms of weekly numbers of the new cases, after sustaining 2 weeks of decline and a slight increase last week, we now have a more steep rise. Pure science, end of story. Dr. Anthony Thompson. That's all we ask for. This set of makeup, flirtatious, put on mask, come with an next mask, and you on tree board, the PNM paying your stipend, you don't want to answer question, you're playing games, you're shimmy-dimmy. For what? 321 new COVID-19 cases and 5 deaths. Wow. From that doctor, hear this doctor now. Let's go back to Dr. Hines. Here, Dr. Hines. All of us knew there was a fiasco where the PNM government under Rowley and Convangale told the population, come for vaccine, first come, first serve. Them I had no vaccine, you know. But they tell the people come out. On June 9th. June 9th they came out. They then say June 10th, come from A to E, not knowing that A to E is about 28,000 people and them only bring out 50 by 36 vaccine. 1,800 vaccine them bring out for 28,000 people, and next thing, and only the elderly, 60 and above and so on. And the next day it happened, 3 full days of super spreader events. I showed you all before, and I will show you all again just to make sure all you know the douglAR not coming to know shimmy-dimmy. We're talking pure science and pure facts. I showed you all the spike and the increase. And we're seeing again 321 cases now. Because, as Dr. Parasram said, when you have a small spike, it increases geometrically. But here our Dr. Hines, that the Express says that Kamla should not criticize because he's just a professional public servant doing his job. Express, why you don't ask him if he got a PNM scholarship from Joe Newell Williams with the next senator who feels she mouth big, who can't get no seat up in a room. I keep forgetting she name, you know. Lezama Lisek. How you going? Husband get PNM fire? What happened? All right. There was a steady increase over a period that preceded that lining up for vaccines for a time period that was actually reasonably short. We made a point to look for an increase or a bump or a spike at the 2-week mark after that event, and actually did not see one. The event occurred on the 9th, put it up now, 10th, and 11th. Let's go, put it up big. Forget Anil. I don't want to see myself. I want my people see the numbers. Because Dr. Hines, he didn't see the spike. So y'all, let's all go together now and see if you notice a spike. These are the raw figures. Put it up bigger, Archie. Like you're frightened to spread the thing. Open it up. Let's go to June 9th. Right. Archie, right. Look, June 9th. 9th of the 6th, 2021. Okay. There were 454 cases, 17 deaths. Okay. That, the 9th, 10th, and 11th, those were the days when they tell we people, especially old people over 60, come for vaccine. All right. So we had been on lockdown, shutdown, and broke down. Go up slowly now, and you could see a steady decrease after those 3 days from the cumulative effects of the lockdown, shutdown, and broke down. We were starting to see some improvement, going down from 316 down to 259. You're going down, you're seeing 227. Around the 20th and the 21st, we see, 106 and 148. That's on the 21st. So that was about the 7th. So the 2 weeks before that we had been on lockdown and state of emergency and we sacrificing $5 billion per month, look some benefit coming. Is it worth the opportunity cost of the $5 billion? That's for y'all to decide. But look, something is happening. It's going down 106, 148 and so on. But then, look what starts to happen. The 22nd, it's 13 days after the 9th. It goes back up. It doubles from the 20th, 106 up to 215. It goes up on the 23rd, 225. The 23rd was exactly 14 days after the super spreader event. It then continues 222, which is about the same. Then it jumps up to 346, where on the 20th we were at 100. Keep going up now, Archie. And 346, 294, right? And there we go. Keep going to the other one now. And we see that the deaths started to rise and continue. Blow up that now. And we continuing from that spike now. From this spike, we're following Dr. Parasram science. When there is a spike or super spreader event, there you will see an increase, and then you will start to see a second increase, a geometric increase. And look at that now. We on July 236, then we have a 124, 160, and this is their statistics, right? But right now, what happened? We still on lockdown, we still on shutdown, we still on brockdown, we still on no vaccination, and on the 8th, we have 321 again. After 60, 65 days of lockdown, after 50 days of state of emergency, that number should be down to 5 or 6 or 10 with a lockdown if it was working. And this man says, Dr. Hines says, and look at that, 923 deaths, right? 923 citizens dead. And Dr. Hines said that he saw no spike, no increase from the July 9th. Y'all stop that phone now, man. From July 9th to the 10th and the 11th, he saw no increase whatsoever, no spike. But I see a spike. Did you see a spike? Did you see an increase? Do you see that we are still on lockdown, shutdown, and brockdown because of stupidity? So why is it necessary for Dr. Hines to tell us what we see and when we don't see? Could you all move that thing when you all have that blank thing? All you really ain't something wrong today. What is that up there for? The 923 deaths. Okay. Thank you. Now, the problem is, the problem here is, why, Dr. Hines? Why? Dr. Hines, why? What are you doing this for? And let's remind you of some of the things that you have done. Run the video. Let me hear Dr. Hines.
Taken by age group, cases have generally been recorded as highest among the 25 to 49 category who fall within the working class. While the Ministry of Health continues to see a downward trend in new daily cases, epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines says there is a shift where elderly people are concerned.
The over 60 age group has slowly but steadily been increasing over the past, let's say the past month. We've seen that they've been accounting for a steadily increasing proportion of the total number of cases. And when we look at that broken down even further, those in the 70 and above age group have also increased to some extent.
COVID-19 can affect the elderly, especially those with comorbidities, at a disproportionate rate. In that regard, Dr. Hines says the shift is being reflected in the death toll.
Among the fatalities, we have been seeing that there's been an increase in that over 80 age group, and the overall balance of male to female has swung from being about 75% in the early years before March or so to now just about 60% male and 40% female. And the people over 60 that aren't in elder.
The place to be is in Tobago.
Two weeks later,
Driving factor would have been the large congregations that would have occurred 2 weeks ago around the Easter period.
He was asked to respond to the Prime Minister's statement that vigils were the reason for the spike.
We had lots of things going on. We had the reopening of sporting activities against that backdrop. We had people who were going to church and not well. So the driving factors for the surge at that point in time are multifactorial.
There seemed to be a lot more mobility and interaction over that Easter period than there may have been for the corresponding Christmas period, at least if we look at the impact on the spread of the virus.
All right. Well, I'm at the point where I'm about to ask you the final question, which for me would be the most important question. Are you planning to grow dreadlocks at any point in time?
Dreadlocks are high maintenance. I don't think that I have the time right now to dedicate to doing that properly.
What is this I am looking at here? Dr. Hines? Dr. Apolitical Professional Hines? Dr. Hines of the whole country? Dr. Hines in charge of making rules and laws and giving us information and directing policy for the whole country. Dr. Hines, which is not a political position. Dr. Hines, what is this thing you're on here? Was that your sister, your twin sister? Who is that? Who's that you're talking to? Come to me. Really? Is that Rhoda Barrett? Miss PNM Rhoda Barrett? Who got a walk at NLCB and still has not answered the question, when was the walk advertised? Who got the walk? Who created the position? When did the note go to cabinet? Did it go to PMCD for terms and conditions? What is a person who does conflict or crisis management at NLCB? What's the crisis about losing a lotto or a quick pick? Rhoda Barrett, how these things went on? But I'm not interested in Rhoda Barrett. She's entitled to love her Rowley, love her PNM, talk the most abject nonsense, illogical positions. That's her right. And I defend her right to support who she wants. And she must claim and let you all know that Colmimbat and LLCB, there's pay she at least 170,000 a year by 6 years. Okay, so multiply. So she should be a PNM. She should be left foot, right foot. I agree with she. No, I'm not dealing with that. Dr. Hines, how come you end up there? Is that a news program? Is that an impartial, well looked at, politically, apolitical, impartial, journalistic position to be on? How Dr. Hines is there? Express newspaper, I'm asking you now. Because you attack Kamla Persad-Bissessar, because Kamla Persad-Bissessar, based on the evidence put forward by Dr. Hines and others, said that the entire team that has led us into this morass, into this cesspit of death and infection, this team that has played political games with a pandemic, need to go. And you were scathing in your attack of Kamla Persad-Bissessar, stating that these were just mere public servants who were above the fray of politics and should not be treated as such and should be respected, and their impartiality must be upheld. What say you, Express? What is Dr. Hines doing on PNM Balisette Juice Central, where you only drink the juice, you suck the juice, you could eat sugar cane with the juice, and the juice warps your mind? That's the impartial Dr. Hines? Really, Express? Let's hear about it, Dr. Hines now. County Caroni still recording high infection rates, says Hines. As TNT's COVID-19 infection surged earlier this year, County Caroni was identified among those with the highest number of new infections. And while the country's overall number of active cases has continued to fall, Caroni has remained a worrying concern. During the ministry's health, Dr. Avery Hines said, in most of the counties, a downward trend had been observed during weeks 21 and 23, with the exception of counties Caroni and Arriva Mayaro. Dr. Avery Hines, is that necessary? What does that mean, Dr. Hines? County Caroni, UNC, Indian? Are you serious after going on the news source? We know that the news source, there is no differentiation in race and no race talk and no ideals of division on the news, on that thing. It's hard for me to even look. I don't look, but I mean, I had to show you because I want the Express and the people to know what you are about. County Caroni, you're attacking Caroni, Dr. Hines, really? Seriously? Dr. Hines, tell me about this. No, boy, Archie, boy. Oh, Lord, there's only so much so about. Why you going to do me that? How you going to do me that, boy? Woo. Let me get back my thoughts. Dr. Hines, I need your information on this because you are the scientist. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC have said that shutting down beaches and outdoor activities and outdoor vending and so on goes against the science because sunlight, open air, open breezes gives the virus difficulty in staying active. It has a half-life of 12 hours in the hot sun, whereas in cold areas or indoors, it could live up to 72 hours. Therefore, it has a longer time to spread indoors. So Kamla Prasad Bisesa said that. She said sunlight kills the virus. Dr. Rowley and his cohorts and the convent girl, the duns who could not pass a pharmacological exam, the duns who could buy, he know how to add up and buy car. But they ridiculed Kamla Prasad Bisesa. You never weighed in. You didn't correct them. There was an election that came, and many of the people who you are now talking to on social media were the ones pushing that silly, unscientific agenda about sunlight doesn't do anything. There's no difference. It don't kill the virus. It doesn't. Sunlight and indoors is the same thing. Dr. Hines, I need you to come out and tell the population. Run it.
True or false? Sunlight kills the virus.
It does. That's a truism. That's one of the reasons why outside in the sun, when you are interacting, that is much, much better than being inside.
Again, stay out of the recirculated air. It's better to be outside and in the open air. Sunlight better than more recirculated air inside.
Exactly. And that's the reason why one of the 4 or 5 things that we say are important is outside is always better than inside. Okay. And that's why when restaurants open, if they open, you encourage tables that are out.
Very interesting. That's Dr. Fauci. Now let's hear what Dr. Convent, oh, he's not a doctor. Let's hear what Dr. Rowley, oh, he's a doctor of stones. Let's hear what they have to say. Not Dr. Fauci.
I think we should export the opposition leader as an anti-COVID product in this pandemic. Go out and tell the world, sunshine does kill COVID.
You would recall they talked about building a dome. None other than the member for Siparia came out, build a dome. COVID will be killed in sunlight, etc.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, it wasn't my honourable colleague, the member of St. Joseph, who tried to lull citizens into complacency by telling them sunlight does kill COVID.
Kamla Prasad Bisesa government. Because they believe in what? Sunshine.
It's a mismanagement of the COVID-19, then so be it. If the member believes that by not using sunshine, that's mismanagement, then he can do that.
about sunlight, sunlight is great. We are so blessed. The climate we have is one of the best in the world. And I repeat again, sunlight will kill COVID-19.
Sunlight kills the virus.
It does. That's the truth.
Sunlight kills the virus.
It does. That's the truth.
Sunlight kills the virus.
It does. That's the truth.
Yes. Do you have the image also of the more recent article on that? Yes. We're going to find that too, because there's a more recent article, more scientific research has been done, factoring in and figuring out the light, the UV rays and so on, and its impact on the virus. But you have a whole government, a bunch of idiots, talking and ridiculing and playing stupidity and talking about building a dome and sunlight and foolishness. And we are on lockdown, shut down, broke down, starved down, dead down, all locked up inside. And COVID still spreading like wildfire after 60 days. Oh, wonder why. When if we were outside working harder and so on and making money, we would not be hungry. We would still have COVID. But the infections would not be going so high because we're in an incubator inside. You want to wonder how come we on lockdown, how come we on shutdown, and how come we still have 321 positive cases? And how come 923 people dead in the last 2 months? Over 650 people dead. But these clowns, and where's the scientists? Where's Dr. Hines? You all have it? Put up the image. Let me read a little bit from it. They don't have it yet? But anyway, just to let you all know that Mahendra Modi, when faced with a COVID crisis and lack of management, as Kamala Prasad Bisesa called for the removal of the convent girl, the removal of Davlin Thomas, the removal of those Dr. Hines and the one with the mask who have 4 PNM salary stipend collecting and so on. Move out, you all have failed, we are dying, our death rate is high, we've shattered the economy, we have no jobs, we are putting middle class people below the poverty line. Check Modi. Modi say, listen, cabinet reshuffle, fire the minister of health and so on, put new people because he find they weren't doing good. In a massive cabinet revamp, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi dropped 12 senior cabinet ministers yesterday and inducted a younger team aimed at refurbishing his government's image after widespread criticism of its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. But here we have widespread criticism. And Rowley say, I love my boys. My boys bad like crab. In fact, I let them buy a new ride, man. Love them. But government must offer relief, so can't defer taxes. Rowley say, ole grand by the end of the year. But say, no deferring of taxes, no nothing. All you have to pay all your thing. You have no economy, no jobs. You're not open, but you have to pay a tax. But say, because they have to pay relief. Really? Out of the $23 billion them take out all the money, how much was allocated for relief? 425 million. The 22.6 billion short. And they said that they still collected all their tax because they had to give poor people relief. The Minister of Social Development telling people they're greedy for going for hamper. Finance Minister Coleman Butter said government cannot defer the collection of taxes because it provides an invaluable revenue stream which allows it to offer relief to people who have been affected by COVID-19. So you people who are hungry and starving, you are the reason why Imbat still have to collect tax. Not the payment for airport in Tobago with no travel. I supposed to go Jamaica to do Olympics coverage with Sportsmax. Them Jamaica say no, Chunika come there. We on the red list till August. So I have to stay right here and do it. So understand what we are talking about. But them building an airport in Tobago with Chinese laborers. They pay out 183 million to whom we don't know. The airport increased from 300 million to 1.2 billion. No tourists coming. We not in no bubble. COVID-19 mashing up Tobago because Rowley invite Trini to go there and spread COVID, and Tobagonian dead in. The other bill, they had to pay the rental for Al-Rawi and his family. But the Bolin, they had to collect taxes to pay, give you hamper. They had to pay Udicot. Udicot had a building. They had to refurbish the community, the old Ministry of Community Development, where Dr. Hines probably got a scholarship. I don't know. I keep asking, but all they don't want to answer. The Ministry of Sport building, they do it. But government to continue subsidizing fuel until economic improvement. I hope you all believe this, Dwayne, you know. At this point in time, government will continue subsidizing the price of diesel fuel until the economic situation improves. And the administration will also change the law to protect the public if petrol dealers engage in cartel arrangement. So, he bring in a law that he feel it could have cartel. But at the same time he bring the law, he didn't bring the law to prevent cartel, you know. He say, vibes, hold it. If cartel reach, I will come back in the parliament and bring thing to mash up cartel with Mavado. That is him but for all you want to, let me vote, man. Vote. All you think sweet too bad because they know all you. They saucy with all you. And Kamala Prasad Bissessa warns of increasing fuel prices across USA and in the world. 40% hike in fuel prices already. Aggregate demand is beginning to go up. Planes flying, factories working, trucks starting to move, deliveries making, fuel price going up. You are now unprotected because the Dwayne took away your protection. But he had to tax you because he want to give all your hamper. Not he want to pay Al-Rawi and them rent. Oh Lord, well, we could always depend. If in trouble, depend on this guy. This guy will save you. I don't know if you could press that one magnify. I just want the people to see the Savior that's coming to fight on their behalf, Archie. Just magnify it now. Let them see him now, man. While they're moving slow. Press it, Archie. Show them the Roger. Roger is coming. He's saying to Imbot and Rowley, who he put there, look at him. Roger, your superhero is coming to save you. Keep fuel subsidy. Go back. if what happy with he, them mama guy them twist he up, he lean to the left, them push he to the right, and them take that he, oh you're getting refinery. The man take out the money, the union money, spend out the money, do all kind of thing with the money, nothing for he, you know. He coming now, 10,898 people lost work, 5,369 permanent, and 6,000 nearly temporary part-time workers, plus contractors, plus people who working on the fence line. But he coming to help all your fuel subsidy. The PNM talking arrogantly. Yeah, small pin. Come now, what a bill I do. Yes, dunce. We are number one in COVID. Sunlight. We have it under control. I have full confidence in Confident Girl. The high cost of baking bread going up, restaurants reeling. Guardian, BG5, Thursday, July 5th, 1.5 billion lost in sales. Then here comes Stuart Smallpin Young. He went to Houston with Rowley. He led the negotiation in the gas price. The upstreamers make 67% more profit. We shut down, lockdown, broke down, and everything mash up. Point liters mash up. 11 companies gone. Now NGC make a loss for the first of all, the profit went down from $2 billion US to 300 million in 2017-18. 18-19 loss. Now 19-20 lost 4.2 billion. Small pin come to say, that is Kamala. Because he said like Kamala, this man say, Young say, that the negotiation with Mitsubishi and the UNC caused the collapse and the loss of NGC. But let me ask you this, because I don't like to waste time with this dotish, small pin, funky fong beard, car buying, arrogant dunce, right? But let me just read what the dunce say now. Young referred to a 2-day trip, a 2-day visit he made to Japan in 2015 to renegotiate the deal. So who I don't, you know, and then just talk that I cannot continue to let y'all know how dotish these people are. So he renegotiated the deal. 6 years later, they have a 2.1 billion loss. But he blamed Kamala. Mitsubishi contract to cost TNT billions. But this is the point. And Frank Lukim, Mark Loquan, anybody in energy understands that the key point of the demise of NGC, the profits, Trinidad and Tobago's energy revenue from gas, was a Houston trip that was not taken by Franklin Kahn. It was taken by Keith Christopher Rowley and Small Pin, where they went to Houston and met with the upstreamers, those people who are sucking the gas out of the ground. They usurped the authority of the NGC and employees, the public servants, the intelligence one, who were fighting and battling for negotiation because they know the future predictions, they know the markets, they know what they could, their margins and so on, and they were fighting hard. That's a good negotiation. Rowley and Smallpin went and said, hey, come man, we go settle this, eat some shrimps, drink some scotch and come back from Houston. And since then, total collapse. Those are the facts. Facts are stubborn things. So forget Kamla now. Run the video. Let me remind you about Rowley and Smallpin dances together.
The last time when we were looking at the energy sector, there was a stalemate with the NGC negotiations. Would you continue to look at the contracts and in terms of getting the best value for the country? You took a trip to Houston, you broke that point. At that point, you broke the stalemate that existed. There are about 5 more contracts still outstanding. Will you be involved in these negotiations?
Well, no, I don't expect to be. As I was coming down here, I saw a whole page advertisement in the newspapers by the opposition, which is hell-bent on misleading this country, about me negotiating gas contract. What had happened is that the two parties, NGC negotiates gas contracts for this country, the National Gas Company. And in that company, you have the experts who do it and their advisors. I do not get involved with the actual price of the negotiation, or that's not my job.
As the Prime Minister has said on countless occasions, as I have said on countless occasions, as the Minister of Energy has said on countless occasions prior to today, the Prime Minister did not engage in negotiations of gas prices. He did not engage in those discussions in Houston in 2017.
When I went to Houston 2 or 3 months ago with Minister Young on a mission to meet BP, Shell, EOG, and also Exxon, because Exxon is not producing here, but the other 3. BP, our major supplier, Shell, the new big player that bought out BG, and EOG, our second largest gas producer. I went to Houston and concluded the negotiations that had been going on, and we agreed on a gas price across the board.
I don't know what else to say now. My people, my country. At what point? You know when you're going to court and you're on the witness stand and the defense attorney or the opposing attorney catch you lying, bam, whether it's jury trial or judge, if you get caught lying once, they could discard your whole testimony What has happened when you get catch lying 475 times in 6 years? What has happened? And then the next one, he ain't done there, no small pen, Goatee man. Goatee man ain't done there. Young, UNC saddled Lake Asphalt now with inflated contract. So Lake Asphalt, since we in the Senate and Wade Mark asked Franklin Can what's going on there, Franklin Can said that's a bad business model. It always was 20 years. This one come to ball, small people say, yes, UNC. So job lost, everybody getting fired. But it's Kamla. Here the next one. Stuart Young saying, because El Pecos was very intelligent, the management and staff, the owners of El Pecos, they're suffering, they're studying the employees, they're trying to fight. So they go and register as a market or grocery and so on, and they do their stuff. Brilliant. Police went and checked them, see the documents in order, and they went, and it was totally appropriate. But simultaneously, Minister of Everything, Gary Sobers, the small pin of Rowley K-Pax, embarrassing himself just like the mask fiasco, why we have to still wear masks with we family in the car. You could kiss up your child, hug up your wife, you could have just love up your wife in the house, but when you get in your car, all you have to put on mask. Because small pin the idiot, while we was in the Senate with the next makeup wearing one, I'll recusal. He's saying at a press conference, yes, you have to wear it in the mask, in the car. While Al-Rawi said, nah, that don't make sense. So, this man small pin saying at a press conference yesterday, all I could ask people to do is just respect the law. All right? A spade is a spade. A duck is a duck. Or a rabbit is a rabbit. If you are a rabbit and you feel by putting a duck feather on your back, you become a duck, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Yes, and if you get pelted upside down in a dustbin, they call you dustbin terrier. They put anything on your back. Eh? So respect the law. If you know you're a restaurant and you've been selling food as a restaurant for all the time, and in particular as a takeout restaurant, don't just go and put some, I don't know, I couldn't spot what it is, and call yourself a market. Right? That's what he said. So don't just go and change up your thing just on hoodwick. But look at something. Pop that image there for me, because I'm confused. What is that? According to Stuart, El Pecos can't become a grocery. But his brother company can suddenly become a bank. Oh Lord, and all you vote for that, masses of y'all who hungry and starving, all you vote for that, what you want me say? Me ain't vote for that clown, no his brother, no his father, no his small pin, me ain't care about them. But, take down that clown now. As it turned out, the law did turn up at the doors of, take down that now boy, of Woodbrook Restaurant Grocery Hybrid. But it did not shut down the operations, as they had officially been registered as a grocery on June 24th. The police confirmed, as a result of the documentation seen and copies made, the police left the premises and no action was taken. Wait, all are going too quick. Cool it. No action was taken. But then small pin come and talk a big hoodwink thing about rabbit and feather, and which rabbit are small pin and which are bigger pin, and which rabbit, if the big pin rabbit gone by the small pin rabbit girl, pressure start. That's what he come here to talk. So he come now as the big Sawati of the Rowley government, embarrass himself because the police went by El Pecos, check out the documentation, found all was in good order, and allowed them to proceed. But not in this beautiful Trinidad and Tobago, not in this beautiful Twin Island Republic, the Stuart Small Pin, the holder the cherisher of Rowley's K-Packs, can't be wrong. So what's going to happen, you all think? The police, let me see, Senior Superintendent Kelvin Thompson, head of the Western Division, sent a team of officers to El Pecos after receiving photographs of their operations. The officers arrived and met the owner, who showed documentation. He had registered El Pecos as a grocery, effective June 24th. Legal, legitimate, bona fide. The police confirmed, as a result of the documentation seen and copies made, the police left the premises and no action was taken. Then Small Pin talky big talk. Look what happened just now. Earlier, about an hour and a half ago. Run it there, Archie. Look what happened. Checked all the documentation, found it to be correct, legal, and so on. Who sent these police now? What are they coming here for? And we heard now reports are coming that El Pecos Market and Hybrid was closed down. This is your country. This is where we reach. Some people could have a wedding and spread COVID and Lyme, and other people get face down on the ground. Some people could walk around without mask and do what they want when they want, and others get charged $1,000 and lock up. Some people could just be walking down the street and get police just and start to rough them up. Some other police could see that, fast forward the tape and go on a TV show and talk one bag of nonsense when them was in a room with 13 men without mask, brain like donkey, and dribbling on each other. That is your country. And while they talk about luxury vehicle furor. Me, I know why so much furor, but all right, furor, because of course it's insensitive. People suffering, people starving, all they buying it. But that's, you all now know the PNM insensitive. But all you greedy for wanting hamper, all you double dipping, how all you could go for grant, what all you want, you all want too much, what you doing? Nah man, all you didn't know that? You didn't know they didn't want no laptop for your children? They didn't want to spend on sport? They didn't want to spend on differently able children? They didn't want to build school? They didn't want to do nothing to help all of you all have to wean yourself off the government? All you now know them heartless? Because people starving, they may go buy car. But people starving and them getting their rent. People starving and they get 38 million to outfit their own building. People starving and them Noel Garcia spending and billing thing all over the place, one man. People starving and them recusing themselves 92 times. All you now realize that these people are heartless. And Guardian, this is what you find to put on the front page about them two boy car. You didn't find the porous borders and Brazilian variant and Delta variant coming and 923 people dead. And how come every time we reach in HDU or ICU, we dead in? You didn't find where the $23 billion gone and nobody getting grant. And Rowley saying about grant, you go get your little pittance quite at the end of the year. All you didn't find that front page. What about NGC making 2.1 billion loss? And Small Pen talking nonsense about Kamala. That not front page. Them buy cars front page. Well, I happy for all you. But the question I have to ask, as I said, licensing office open today. Right? They sent out a memorandum about 2 days ago. And it opened today. But that's all right. I want to ask, if license office open today, Friday, and was closed for the state of emergency and so on, which is like 50 days, 50 something days. how the Alsing car get registered and licensed on June 7th? I just want to know how it got licensed if licensing office closed. All you don't want to know? I'm just interested in that. And as we on licensing office, Faris, you said in the Senate when I showed you that your government was overcharging and stealing money from people. That when I went to renew my license, the people at the Works and Transport Licensing Office charged me an extra penalty when it should not have been so, because I was willing, able, and ready to renew my license. But the office was on lockdown, shut down, and broke down. Faris, at that time, there were about $7 million worth of refunds to be given back to citizens. Faris, didn't you undertake that people would receive their refund? I haven't received it. Have any of you received it? Let's just make sure that Faris said that we'd get back with money that the government thief. Run it.
Senator Roberts was wrongly met with a penalty for late payment. That has been ordered to be corrected by way of refund to all persons in that situation for the extension of a driver's license. It's quite fortunate that a parliamentarian was in that unfortunate position, because at least the voice was heard. But the point is that the public service, regrettably, has made some errors in applying some things. We know that approximately $1.7 million for late penalties in the case of driver's licenses was in fact levied. That should not be done. The rebate has to happen. The money went into the consolidated fund. It would have to be issued out.
Well, we ain't issue out yet. It went in, but it ain't come out. I'm talking about going in and coming out. Faris, you're the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago. I have some questions for you, because you come out finally and put the list of the millionaire lawyers that you're coming down the road with. And there was a Claude Denbo on the list. Faris, so we have some questions for you. It's Mr. Claude Denbo. Good afternoon, sir. Hope everything is okay. I want to ask a few questions of Faris and this gentleman, Mr. Claude Denbo. Yeah, put it up big so the people could see the questions. So Faris, at your next press conference with your heavy mascara and powder foundation, you could answer some of these for the people, okay? Not so big, but warm to you, Archie. Right. Number one, is Claude Denbo and his wife, are they shareholders in a company called Apox Investment Limited, along with two other shareholders, being Faris Al-Rawi and his wife Mona Nahus? Faris, is that true? Does that company Apox own a building located at 113 Oxford Street called Altus Court? Put up the building now. And number three, if that company does not own that building, then who owns the building? Is it Faris Al-Rawi and his wife who own this building? Members of the media, of course, you can take these questions. These questions are not Anil own. They're the people own. So ask them. Faris, you listening? Number four, is Mr. Denbo's law firm located at that said building? Is it? Mr. Denbo, you could answer to, is your office there? Are your chambers there? Do you work there? And if you work in there, we have some questions, more questions for you. Is Mr. Denbo a shareholder on paper and paying rent to the owners of this building? If the building is owned by Faris Al-Rawi, the Honorable Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, is Mr. Denbo paying him rent? In other words, is Faris paying Mr. Denbo, or is Faris, the Honorable Attorney General, paying Mr. Denbo for legal work from the Office of the Attorney General and the government of Trinidad and Tobago while collecting rent from the very said Mr. Denbo? Is this occurring? If this is the case, what is the rental amount? Is the rent of value which is common and normal in the rental market at present? Or is the rent above market value? We would like to know the rent so that we can determine by square footage and so on what's the situation. Mr. Denbo received approximately $10 million from the Honorable Attorney Faris Al-Rawi for legal work. So is Faris Al-Rawi giving legal work to his business partners or to his tenants? So the question here is, the Honorable Attorney General giving legal work to business partners or tenants in which there is a benefit to himself? Remove that there now. You see, because Faris, you like to talk, Faris. You like to throw and cast aspersions on everybody character, Faris. Everybody's a thief to you, Faris. But everybody never recused themselves 37 times, Faris. Everybody never rented out their own personal building to the government that they are the Attorney General for, Faris. Everybody didn't take $38 million to outfit their building to then rent it to the very government of which they are a part, Faris. And everybody did not. And these are very serious questions. And Mr. Denbo, I would like you to clear the air, because if this is not true, please clear the air and I will give you full time here so to do. So the questions are, who is the owner of that building? Is it Apox Company? Are you Mr. Denbo, or have you ever been a shareholder in that company? Do you rent? Do you pay rent, or as a shareholder do you just occupy? Is Mr. Faris Al-Rawi also a shareholder in that company, or an owner part thereof with his wife of that building? Did you receive state briefs from the PNM government while Faris Al-Rawi was Attorney General? Well, we know that you did. To the tune of $10 million. These are questions. Media, over to you. Faris, you got a lot of questions to answer, man. What happened to this, Faris? You was looking fit. You didn't have on so much makeup at this time, but you were talking a lot of something that rhymed with fit. Run it.
Government, not because we are so fed up of a UNC regime, but because we have policy, we have process, we have transparency, we have people that can withstand scrutiny. And we say, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a better life, if you want hope to return to Trinidad and Tobago, if you want to feel circulation of money amongst the people at the lowest levels, if you want a cut in taxation, if you want food prices to come down, because we will reduce VAT from 15% to 12.5%, if you want more jobs, because the local government will be expanded to deliver services, then that is why you must vote for the PNM on Monday.
Archie, run that again. Run Faris.
Government, not because we are so fed up of a UNC regime, but because we have policy,
we have process, we have transparency, we have people that can withstand scrutiny. And we say, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a better life, if you want hope to return to Trinidad and Tobago, if you want to feel circulation of money amongst the people at the lowest levels, if you want a cut in taxation, if you want food prices to come down because we will reduce VAT from 15% to 12.5%, if you want more jobs because the local government will be expanded to deliver services, then that is why you must vote for the PNM on Monday.
Well, we'd like some scrutiny there, Faris. Answer the questions now. Don't make Jayanti and them have to put FOIA and make you go and scream and cry and let your mascara run in the parliament again or in the Senate, right? While you all were voting for him because of all of that nonsense, that abject total nonsense, all you hear there. There's a tiny little article on page 15, Wednesday, July 7th, in The Guardian. Caribbean Airlines, the same Caribbean Airlines that you've just heard that Colmimbot and the PNM and Al Rawi and them going to fire 450 people. Caribbean Airlines partners with international car rental company. Planes, trains, and automobiles, but without the train so far. Caribbean Airlines yesterday announced that it has launched a new partnership with Enterprise Holdings, the parent company of 3 globally recognized and trusted car rental brands: Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Alamo Rent-A-Car, and National Car Rental. The agreement allows customers to book Enterprise, Alamo, and National cars via Caribbean Airlines. Do you all see anything wrong with that? Do you all feel anything wrong with that? Caribbean Airlines is not a national airline subsidized by the taxpayers and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. If Caribbean Airlines is promoting Trinidad and Tobago, shouldn't they partner with local rental car companies right here? Shouldn't they? To get the multiplier effect, to create jobs, to get food into the people's hands like that clown was trying to say? Why would you partner with an international company to rent cars in Trinidad and Tobago? What about the rent-a-car companies here? What about Econo Car Rental, Sings Auto Rental, Carloos? What about in Tobago, all the rent-a-car locals that we have there? They don't deserve work. They don't deserve. You want to put them out of business by the international competitors getting a link through the people and them airline to put the locals out of business and to not enhance or help the locals make profit. How could that be a caring, thoughtful government of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? And they put that there so small. What I go say? TNT maintains a low score on the economic index also. Then we have Prestige Holdings providing trucks now for food basket program. So Prestige Holdings is the KFC man, the KFC report man, the man who now have all the vaccine and all the company, the pharmaceutical man, the PNM man who in charge of the roadmap to recovery, the KFC man that the PNM bill and interchange and drop in a bucket of chicken. Them now, the PNM that giving poor people food, and he, the KFC man, give his employees a Pepsi Jalita and 2 pie, $150 a week, and then take it away and tell them come and take a loan that them go have to pay back when they start back to work. That KFC man, the PNM going to find he and he truck to give him money to utilize, to carry vegetables and hampers and so on across the country. Where was the tender? In this public-private partnership would ensure transport efficiencies and mobilize Prestige employees, specifically drivers and loaders, while restaurants are closed. It's great to be a friend and up in the K-Packs of Rowley, isn't it? The only problem is the Constitution says that the resources of the country should be made equitably distributed and all should have an opportunity to partake in what is theirs. But some are partaking more than others. 2 offshore patrol vessels arrive in Trinidad and Tobago. We safe now. Borders, Rowley and Small Pinting reach. We good. We safe, man. Hey, when Wade Mark asked Convent girl, but we hearing, boy, they had a little bacchanal by Cuba with some vaccines that the people thought that they stole. He gallery, that could never happen, and we have such stringent measures, and we help them. Wade Mark is an alarmist. Cancer medicine stolen from St. James Medical Center. Dr. Lakrambodo said the amount of drugs stolen could be in the millions. Medication stolen from St. James Medical Complex. Pharmacists suspect inside job. Here's some of the thing. All kind of thing. I learned about something out in the States called oxytocin that it has used to make some other kind of drug. That gone here too. One Convent girl, I'm not hearing you. You're not arrogant. You're not. What about the security there? You're not in charge of that? You're not in charge of the St. James Medical Center? Davidson Celestine in Tobago. Tobago ready to open for business. But hear this. Once you're a PNM, you just have to lie, you know. You can't help but lie. Here, Davidson Celestine. First of all, remember when they said they're opening and so on, they had some controversy? Well, the Hoteliers Association in Tobago said, right, members of the THTA called for greater consultation on the way forward in the COVID-19 recovery process. They said Tobago would remain closed to direct international flights as Tobago has asked for a little bit more time to see how this works, and we will work with Tobago. That's what Minister Young said, right? Minister Young said, we will work with Tobago. Tobago has asked for more time. That's what Small Pin say. But through a media release, the THTA said it had noted with great surprise statement made by both Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart Young, and THA Secretary for Health and Wellness Family Development, Tracy Davidson Celestine, following a tour of the Piarco International Airport last week. Both were among a contingent of government officials who visited the airport. They said they're shocked because them didn't ask for no time. But here Davidson Celestine, that's a request made by the hotel sector, not Tobago. But the hotel sector say, what nonsense you talking about? We didn't ask so. Oh Lord PNM, my goodness. Yesterday the THTA expressed concern about these statements. Not these statements, these Francomen lies. Well, health workers protest to demand payment salary in Venezuela. So Venezuela, health sector workers protested yesterday to demand full payment of salary agreed in the Agreement Act, reported trade unionist Mauro Zambrano. Today from every health center we are protesting in Venezuela for the money. And here in Trinidad, they're taking away allowance for shoe and uniform from the nurses and the health workers. Maduro, Rowley, same kettle of fish. And why do I say that? Because Emery Brown, Rowley, where the vaccine them from USA? And Rowley was leading the charge. And Rowley was negotiating and talking with Kamala Harris. And Rowley was talking with President Biden, man. Wasn't he talking with other state people, some Congress people, to get vaccines? Where the damn vaccines, man? I'm not understanding. Hey, Emery Brown. Because Taiwan, 2.5 million jabs of Johnson & Johnson from the USA. Honduras, 1.5 million jabs of Moderna from the USA. Mexico, 5 million jabs. Canada, 5 million jabs. Peru, 2 million Pfizer. Guatemala, Moderna, 1.5 million from the USA. Bolivia, 1 million Johnson & Johnson from the USA. Ecuador, a gift, 1 million Pfizer from the USA. Paraguay, 1 million Pfizer from the USA. Colombia, 2.5 million Johnson & Johnson donated by the United States of America. Uruguay, 500,000 Pfizer. Rowley, Trinidad, 200 Pfizer for special people somewhere. Rowley, did you get your Pfizer? When we come back, I'm taking a little break out of get a little water. Senator Vera, I'm going to have to talk to you a little bit. I'm going to have to speak to you because you made some statements there that confused me, sir. And they attack me and my character personally. You impugn my character, so I'm going to have to set the record straight, Senator Vera. Because you all had a great debate, I'm very happy that douglAR Politics got 6 hours of Senate time. Fantastic. It was so exciting. And that I have to apologize to the Senate. Great. Fantastic. I have no problem with none of that. I expect PNM to be PNM about PNM. But when an independent senator speaks out of turn, I'm going to correct the record and see what kind of man you are, Senator Vera. Are you a man of integrity and class? Are you a man who will admit when you erred? Are you a man or are you a mouse? We shall see. Taking a little break to drink some water. And I'm coming back. Don't go nowhere, no. I'm coming back.
So one of the first things we had to tackle was cutbacks in subsidies and transfers.
Yes, and on a scale of 1 to 10, here's your score so far.
Since September, in the September 2015 budget, I increased the price of fuel by 15%. I then realized that was not enough. I came back again in April and I raised it again by 15%. And I came back again just a few weeks ago and raised it by another 15%. They haven't rioted yet. So I might raise it by another 15% in April of next year.
COLMIMBERT.
Yes, so Senator Vera, I'm reading in the Express some of your comments. I'm not interested in 98% of it, but I am interested in some conclusions that you came to, Senator Vera. Express page 16, and I also checked the Hansard to ensure that the Express did not misprint your words or misprint your calypso. Page 16, Friday 9, July 2021. Noting Roberts's given reason for his failing to attend meetings of the Privileges Committee, that he suffered from asthma and was fearful of contracted COVID, Vera said the record would show that during the period between the occurrence of the offending incident and the committee's final deliberations, Roberts attended a number of Senate sittings in person, as well as participated virtually in a number of joint select committee meetings. Now let me just correct the record for you, Senator Vera. The first meeting of the Committee of Privileges I was invited to was on the 23rd of April. My attorney, Kyle Taklal Singh, wrote to the committee because at that time the regulations were 5 people. The COVID regulations, the law of the land in a public setting. And we noted that the committee itself was more than 5 people, plus the recorders and the secretariat, plus myself and my 2 advisors. We were somewhere up at 10, 11 or 12 people. And we wrote to request clarification and the positioning on what was going, as well as mentioning that in this COVID-19 situation, that Zoom and virtual meetings had become the norm. The committee ignored the correspondence from my attorney, did not respond at all. After the meeting, after the 23rd, and they held a meeting, whatever they did, they sent communication to say that I refused to come to the meeting and that they don't recognize correspondence from an attorney representing me. Suffice it to say that henceforward, from that position, my attorney Kyle, when he would send me information, I would also send it and say, I adopt all of this information, and I would also write it from myself to avoid confusion. Because at every juncture, I would love to participate. I have no problem in participation. The only Senate sitting, this next Senate sitting of the Senator Vera, was the 27th of April. I was in attendance at that sitting of the Senate. On May 3rd, the Honorable Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley came to the population and laid down the lockdown rules, which changed the perception and the concept and the position of the COVID-19 threat. It was upgraded, sir, on May the 3rd because of they noted the Brazilian variant, the increasing death, and the increasing infection rates. On May 6th, I had an appointment with my doctor, one of my doctors, who was advising me during this COVID-19 pandemic, advising me on what vaccine to take, when to take, how to move, and how to operate. And with the new Brazilian variant, I was instructed to, in short, keep my tail home. Okay. So therefore, sir, I did not attend any more sittings of the Senate, Honorable Senator. I will just go through them for you. May 11th was the next sitting after the 27th. My last sitting was the 27th of April. May 11th sitting, I was absent because of my asthmatic condition, and I could not go to a public place, and my doctor advised me to keep my tail home. So I requested leave from the sitting of the Senate. On the 11th, the next sitting was the 18th, I was absent. June 11th, 15th, 18th, 21st, 22nd, 30th, absent. July 5th, 6th, and 7th, absent from sittings of the Senate, sir. Sittings that are very important and very critical, debating bills that I have great passion for. Liberalization of the fuel economy, the fuel subsidy, pepper spray bills, domestic violence bills, very important bills. I was not there, sir. So when you say and you state quite categorically that the record would show that during the period between the occurrence of the offending incident and the committee's final deliberations, Roberts attended a number of Senate sittings in person, that is false. I know that you would not, on purpose, you wouldn't mislead the Senate, but that's false. But then you went on to say, as well as participated virtually. Yes, I participated virtually in every Joint Select Committee. I am a member of the Joint Select Committee on Energy, on Foreign Affairs, on Land and Infrastructure, and Local Government Reform, because I could handle being at home, virtually on Zoom, doing my work. The problem with COVID-19 and asthma comes with infection and public spaces and interaction with human beings. Senator Vera. Senator Vera continued. To be frank, he said, when I read this report last night, that alone shows, sir, that you read it the night before. Maybe you didn't read it. Maybe you didn't investigate. Maybe you didn't realize. Maybe it was a one-sided report. Maybe you didn't get all of the information. So I'm giving you now, so that if you choose so to do, you can correct the record. Senator Vera said, to be frank, when I read this report last night, I wondered if a tactic was being used to delay until Parliament prorogued, at which point the matter would die, Vera said. And if so, that would be an abuse of process. Senator Vera, with all due respect, you're imputing improper motives to me, Senator Anil O.E. Roberts, a UNC opposition senator. Your words imply that my asthmatic condition maybe does not exist, is not as acute, or I got no advice from my doctor to keep my tail home. Whatever in your mind would lead you to make a statement that I was conducting some sort of scheme to delay because of a silly committee of privileges, nothingness. So I was lying about my asthmatic condition, sir. And you are imputing improper motives on me that I was trying to use a tactic to delay and to abuse the process. I did no such thing, sir. So what I would tell you now, for your information, since neither you nor the committee asked me for my medical report, doctor's notes, any evidence, any discussion, since there was no communication, and mostly you, sir, you stating that my asthmatic condition, my chronic asthmatic condition does not exist. Everybody who listens to douglAR Politics probably knows about it, but I will give you the information and then you will decide whether your words were wrong, your attack was unwarranted, and you misled the Senate, and what you should do to correct the record. It's up to you, sir. Okay? I was diagnosed with asthma at the age of 6. Since then, I have utilized following medications: Ventolin, Milfonide, Forodil, Symbicort 320, that I use twice a day at a cost of $500 for one. And sometimes under pressure with allergies and dust, I sometimes have to use 2 of those per day. I'm registered at Ali's Pharmacy in Westmall and Superfarm under the program from the manufacturer of the Symbicort, where you buy 3, you get the 4th one free. So you can go there and check. I've also utilized and have on hand a nebulizer. I have 3 children, 2 adult children who have suffered with asthma all of their lives. Unfortunately, genetically, I passed it on. And my baby girl, my younger child, suffers with asthma also. She has to utilize the Bicotide and the Ventolin at times. So that's why I involve her in a lot of swimming and sporting activities. But since the lockdown, she's not been able to do so. We do a lot of stuff in the house, okay? Because the chronic asthma is a very serious thing. In 2003, I was hospitalized at St. Clair for about 7 days, where I nearly died due to an asthma attack. And my mother was there praying with her Pentecostal people every day there. You should have come and visited. Okay? On 4 separate occasions, I've been to the Port of Spain General Hospital for emergency care. As you know, asthma patients are treated before gunshot wounds because of the critical nature of asthma. In 2010, I went to the World Cup in South Africa, and unfortunately, the Milfonide and Forodil that I had from Novartis, I hope I pronounced the company properly, ran out and got lost in my suitcase. I had no asthma medication, and I almost passed out walking. That's where I first tried the Symbicort. But I had to be hospitalized there, but due to Jack Warner and FIFA, they handled the situation, and I got nebulized and the injection. The reason why I do coffee and doubles and I drink coffee at all hours of the night is that caffeine eases up the airwaves, and it's good for asthmatics. Okay? So your theory that I fabricated my asthmatic symptoms and condition to miss some committee of privilege, which I consider to be frivolous, while missing some 11 sittings of the Senate that I consider to be critical in the service of the nation and the UNC party that I serve, 309,000 citizens, that I would miss 11 sittings of the Senate to dodge a committee of privilege of the PNM? I think you did not think your statements true, sir. You did not think clearly. COVID-19 attacks the lungs. Many people who die because their lungs shut down. They have to go on ventilators to breathe for them. People with asthma, when they go in, getting an attack, they move down to somewhere around 30, 15, 20% lung capacity during an attack. People with chronic asthma like myself, if I do not have my preventative, can be operating at 60%. If one gets COVID-19, especially the Brazilian variant, sir, which occurred around the time of your committee of privileges, that you say that I concocted my asthma in order to delay the process so that the issue will die, imputing improper motive on my part during your contribution in the Senate, the Brazilian variant was there, infectious, and death rates increased. The COVID-19 threat during that period became a higher risk to asthmatic patients. If you bothered to ask, you would have known, and you could have looked at some of your colleagues across the floor and told them to ask Dr. Trotman, Dr. Trotman who's in the press conferences and so on every day. Dr. Trotman in 2011 did my respiratory test at West Shore Hospital and recommended the Symbicort for me. So if you'd like to go and ask Dr. Trotman, one of the doctors along with Dr. Hines and Dr. Abdul, who's there in the daily COVID-19 press conferences, you can. So, sir, you're an attorney at law, and for you to come to these conclusions, cast aspersions on my character and suggest that I'm faking asthma to dodge punishment, I think it was unjust, it was uncalled for, and I'm calling upon you to see if you have the caliber to apologize, as I've now given you the facts of the situation. And I can tell you that I follow the rules of anything. I played national football. So on the football field, when a referee makes a decision, it's final, whether you agree with it, whether Sterling was kicked down, whether it was a penalty or not. You have to accept the referee's ruling as final, and then you have to pay the price. So I am in an institution where the ruling has come down by people like you, and you say that I have to apologize. I will apologize. Look at this. I'll apologize here on douglAR Politics, because there'll be more people watching douglAR Politics than the Senate when you talk. So let me apologize here. To the President of the Senate, Madam President, I humbly apologize for any and all insinuations that may have brought you any pain or discomfort. I apologize for bringing the Senate into contempt. I wish I would beg the forgiveness of you and all my fellow senators for bringing the Senate into disrepute. I undertake to do so no more, and I hope that my apology falls on your hearts and your ears with the intent that it is given. I humbly apologize. So you are saying, Mr. Vera, that I miss all those sit-ins of my Senate to do my job for my people that I'm passionate about, to dodge doing that? I now look to see, and I let you know that I will give you as much time as you want to correct the record here on douglAR Politics if you want. And if you feel to apologize, you may so do. But I hope now that you are given all the facts and you understand. And next time, when you read a report, you should ask the people if they thought that the person is faking or feigning. Why didn't they ask? Why didn't they write and ask for medical records, ask for a medical certificate? It would have been forthcoming. So I think you were hoodwinked rather than me hoodwinking anybody. So with that, I have a lot more to do, but on Tuesday, I ran out of time. Lavanti, Clarence, deal with you on Tuesday. You're not that important. You're a clown, Clarence. Vandana done beat you. You lost Mayaro. You walk around with Budit all around Shagona Seas and Banana beat you. Where Budit? How you and Budit going? Anybody good? I'll deal with you all. And also, look, did Budit assist you, Clarence? Clarence, did Budit assist you to try and beat Vandana in Chaguanas East? Budit, the owner of Copacabana, the most disrespectful place to women in the workplace, where women are abused. Clarence, I'll deal with you on Tuesday, Clarence. You're really irrelevant, but I like the advertisement that you gave me to Senator the Honorable Vera. I'm just checking to see if I have anything else to add to any more information that you would require. No, I think I covered it. So over to you now, Honorable Senator, because you claimed, and let me quote you, to be frank, when I read this report last night, said Senator Vera, I wondered if a tactic was being used to delay until Parliament prorogued, at which point the matter would die, Vera said. And if so, that would be an abuse of process. Well, let me say to you, sir, no such thing occurred. I did not concoct my chronic asthmatic condition that has nearly killed me on 3 occasions, and I've passed on to my children so that I could abuse a process of a privileges committee in the Senate of Trinidad and Tobago. I did no such thing. And I don't know what you will do now that you know that you erred in your accusation and your attack on my character within the Senate. You also said, noting that Roberts given reason for his failing to attend meetings of privileges committee, failing to attend. Roberts did not fail to attend. The law stated there were public health regulations. Roberts and his attorneys asked for Zoom virtual meetings like has been going on. The committee refused to respond, refused to state, refused to agree, refused to request. You did not read the report very well, sir. He said he suffered from asthma and was fearful of contracting COVID. Yes, I am. Because I have not, even in my emails, I requested of the government that they get a Pfizer for me. Because my doctor has recommended number 1 Pfizer, number 2 Moderna, and number 3 Johnson & Johnson. I'm hearing Johnson & Johnson is coming next week. Well, this asthmatic douglAR will line up for that. Because that's what my doctor said. Senator Vera, you're not a doctor. You know nothing of my medical records, and for you to cast aspersions on my character in the Senate in the way that you did, printed in the newspaper, I leave it up to you as a man to see what you will do. Because the douglAR is out. Clarence, don't miss me when I'm gone, boy.
Politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago.